Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you why I've lost respect for the MVP, James Harden.
Finally on board, and I'm Colin Cowherd, and I'll tell you why I'm not excited about another Cavs-Warriors final. Speak for yourself starts now.
Is there something better than the Cavs-Warriors? Was there a better option?
This Stanley Cup final, maybe.
All right, hello and welcome. We're joined today by NBA champion Jason Terry and Fox NBA analyst Jim Jackson. Let's start in Houston, where the Warriors came back from down 15 to beat the Rockets and advance to the NBA Finals for the fourth straight year. Once again, Golden State was dominant in the second half, with Steph Curry catching fire in the third quarter, while Houston went ice cold, at one point missing 27 straight three-pointers. Steve Kerr talked about his team's turnaround after the game.
Our talent took over. I mean, it's as simple as that. You know, we've got three of the best shot makers in the league. They all got hot at different points of the second half and made great plays.
This is a special moment. This is we talked about it leaving this building after Game 5. This was a part of our story that we hadn't been through before. Our backs against the wall, not having home court advantage, needing to win 2 games to keep ourselves alive, and this is a true testament to how hard it is to get to the finals, how hard it is to have a chance to play for a championship.
All right, Golden State was better late in games in this series, with huge swings in plus-minus between the first and second halves, especially in those notoriously big third quarters. Cowherd, were you impressed by their second half last night?
I got to be honest, not every win blows me away, and I'm not discouraged by every loss. 6'5" P.J. Tucker gave the Warriors fits. I think for right now in the NBA, they're the best collection of offensive talent. Kevin Durant can be invisible at 6'11" defensively. He's supposed to be a rim protector. He's not. P.J. Tucker gave him problems. Houston just missed uncontested shots. Houston was the better team when Chris Paul was healthy, led the series 3-2. I kind of looked at this, and I'm like, okay, they're the best team now, but I can't put them in a Showtime Laker. I can't put them with MJ's Bulls. I can't physically put them with the Pistons and the Bad Boys. I can't. I just see them as a wildly gifted offensive team that mentally and physically you can get in their head.
I tend to agree with you. I think last night was a three-point shooting contest. It was been a great all-star event. And
wow.
The team, you know, one team has the 3 best shooters in the league, and the other team doesn't. And you know, eventually caught up with Houston. I just wasn't that impressed. And I know Steph thinks they've had some monumental moment. He's acting like they overcame the 3-1 deficit LeBron did against the 73-9 team. That's not what happened. Houston couldn't make any shots.
A lot of them uncontested.
Yeah, and you know, you got a 7-foot guy who can shoot over the top of everybody, and eventually he's going to make shots, and Kevin Durant. And then Steph Curry is clearly one of the most special shooters ever, and Klay Thompson's right there with him. They made more three-pointers than the other team. That's all that happened.
Boy, Jason Terry.
You used to say that about MJ when he used to fade away and he was jumping over everybody?
You're comparing anybody you saw out there to Michael Jordan. I'm just saying, because you're saying you're not impressed because they were just better than everybody. I was always impressed with Michael Jordan.
So you're not impressed with these Warriors teams?
Michael Jordan did more than just chuck three-pointers.
But these are some of the 3 of the greatest shooters our era has ever seen play the game of basketball. Fundamentally, these guys shoot the ball at the highest percentage I've ever seen. They're so efficient, and there's no deficit that they can't overcome, as you've seen in Game 6 and 7.
Tell me, Jet.
Don't you think, though?
Jet's a shooter.
So no, he likes to shoot. But
a bunch of shooters.
I think the impression for me is twofold. One, at the beginning of the season, this Golden State team had to fight complacency because of what they've been able to accomplish. So you got to fight that all year of how to get up for each and every game. And Jet, you understand this. And then finally get to the playoffs and you play against a Houston team who's more physical. They wanted a lot more. They put you in situations where you felt uncomfortable. What impressed me wasn't that they won, it's how they won it. It was the ability for them to lock in when they needed to lock in, to make the plays when they wanted to. They were out physical. And keep in mind, we talked about the three-point shooting. Where Golden State beats you is when KD hits a bunch of two-point shots. When Steph Curry gets to the basket and makes 2. So while Houston was missing three-point shots, Golden State was nick and diming you, just like you're doing dominoes. Okay, I may not make a three this time, but you miss your three, I got my two. I got my two. Then next thing you know, 2, 3, 4 3-pointers in a row, now the lead is double digits. I think we go away from looking at how Golden State beats you. It's not always from the three-point line. It's being able to get to the basket and get those easy 2 points.
How could you be impressed when the other team misses 27 straight
I said impressed
threes?
about how they won it. Right. In regards to, listen, it was times in that game when they turned the basketball over, they looked pathetic. When Draymond Green was turning it over, but then you see a couple occasions when he got in KD's face about not going at it. Oh, yeah. And also, to me, this Golden State team is so different. When you put the ball in Steph's hands, that's the difference. You allow KD to run it, things slow down. The minor little adjustments to me, it's not, I picked Golden State to win it anyway. What impressed me was when the team their back is against the wall, how do they respond? That's all we wanted to see.
Yeah.
And
in order for me to be impressed, though, I need more resistance than Houston.
Well, who gonna give it to him?
Well, I need more than what Houston.
But who's gonna give it to him?
They needed Chris Paul out there. Look, the only person that, to me, Colin nailed it right off the top. The only person I was impressed with was P.J. Tucker.
How?
On both teams.
But what did Tucker do other than game 2 when he
I'm
had?
talking about even just last night.
What did he do last night?
If Chris Paul plays in the last 2 games, who wins the series?
Golden State Warriors.
I don't know. I still pick Golden State.
I still Golden State
in Game 7 because I just think that in that situation, Golden State still has 3 of the best players in the game.
That are champions, that have had that experience of being in a situation where it's adverse and they can adapt and adjust. That's what champions do. That's why I have this ring right here.
At Buffalo Wild Wings, we'll admit that we often go overboard with our limited time offerings. We just can't help ourselves. Take our new signature sampler. For $15, you get wings and 3 shareable options like fried pickles or cheese curds. Then there's our aptly named over-the-top nachos, a literal mountain of crispy tortilla chips loaded with your choice of pulled pork or honey barbecue grilled chicken, corn, jalapenos, and more. Then top it all off with our new platinum margarita. Go overboard with us today at Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Available for a limited time while supplies last. Please drink responsibly.
James Harden, who was so crushed by last night's loss that he didn't even shake the Warriors' hands after the game. Second straight game, Houston had blown a double-digit lead. Afterward, Harden struggled to explain his team's collapse.
One half of basketball, 2 games. Game 6 and 7. One half of basketball, we just didn't have the same energy that we had in that first half, our pace. So it's extremely frustrating. You know, just in that second half, our pace wasn't there. That third quarter, I was trying to get the guy, you know, come on, let's go. It's time, you know. But we just didn't have that extra juice that we needed. I don't know if it was the big minutes. I don't know what it was.
All right, Whitlock, do you lose any respect for Harden in the series?
Yes, and that's saying something because I told y'all yesterday he wouldn't be any good in this game and that he didn't deserve the MVP. And there was not one. I have no personal problem with James Harden. There was not 1 minute during that game where I was like, oh, man, he looks like the MVP. Not 1 minute. There wasn't a minute where his impact on the game was so significant that I could see, oh, okay, I can see how he's a cut below LeBron or Kevin Durant or Steph Curry. I didn't see any of that.
Like the first quarter, the way he started, 4 for 5 from the field, got to the free throw line.
Knew it wasn't going to last.
By the way,
knew it wasn't going to last.
Nobody would deny this.
Right.
Steph Curry, of all the guards, was the best guard over 7 games. He was the most influential.
Wait a minute, hold on.
You don't think so?
Well, the first two games were like, is he hurt? He can't hit nothing.
Yeah, but the last 5.
Okay, he got better.
Well,
almost had a triple-double last night. That was impressive.
I mean, honestly, I can make the argument.
But
Harden
Chris
was
Paul
the
was
third
the best guard in this series.
Okay,
right. Let's
so
be
if
honest.
he's won,
yes,
and I would take Curry too. Harden was the third best guard in the series. Guard.
I mean,
come
Clay
on.
in there.
Right,
See,
Clay
was
nice.
I'm not going to say
So
that
maybe
I
the
was
fourth. They're
disappointed.
arguing he's the fourth best.
Well,
but he's the MVP.
Well, I wouldn't say my ideals didn't change on James Harden because I always put him in the box anyway. already knew what kind of player he was. So my expectation level.
You didn't think much of him.
No. I didn't say not think too much of him, but I didn't put him. See, everybody wants to compare and say you're MVP. You got to do what LeBron does. That's impossible. Right. He can't lead the Houston team like LeBron can lead the Cleveland team. You're in the fourth quarter, and throughout the series, you shoot 38%. And I'm gonna put a lot of that not only on James Harden. And Jed, you understand this? Okay. It goes back to coaching too. Okay, D'Antoni.
Bingo.
D'Antoni.
Oh, blow
I'm going to tell you why. Because if you give a player a little bit of rope, they're going to take all of it, okay? You got to know as a coach when something is not working to dial it back in. They say, well, you can't change the way you play. Yes, you can. You know what? Run the pick and roll a lot more with Capella. Yep. Now you're getting lobs to the basket. Exactly. Now James Harden get to the basket, and you're not relying on your three-point shot. So to me, it's a combination of James Harden was where he was he's at where I thought he was going to be, but also it goes back to, again, D'Antoni and situations, ego, not making the adjustments for the Rockets to be successful.
Got an analogy you'll love. You're going to love this. Mike D'Antoni, these guys, Jim knows a little football. You know a little football. Mike D'Antoni is Mouse Davis. It's the run and shoot offense.
Right.
That's all a nice little gimmick. The Houston Gamblers, the USFL. Then I think the Houston Oilers picked it up. And it's a nice little regular season gimmick. Everybody's going to put up Hall of Fame numbers. And comes the postseason. And to me, the NBA has the biggest disparity between regular season intensity and playoff intensity.
True.
And once you put that playoff intensity on Mike D'Antoni's little run and shoot offense, it's the run and poop.
Wow.
You know what? I think you're being way too hard. Wow. Okay, I'll give you an analogy. I'll give you an analogy. Okay? Is that there's a reason convertible sports cars are pretty much 6 months cars. It's called winter. If there was no winter, we'd all have convertibles. Outside of Florida, California, there's a reason. There's a reason James Harden got worse in every round of these playoffs. The NBA's winter is officiating. In every round, officials don't give you the bump and the nudge and the whistle and the call. James Harden is less efficient in every round. That's not a coincidence. The reality is, and he's going to face this from late May for the rest of his career, his game is built on getting the whistle. He's not the MVP, he's the MFP. He's the most foulable player in the league. They don't give you that foul in May and June.
But Colin, here's the thing, too. It's not just that. It's how he plays. Because his game is not diverse enough. Either it's a layup or it's a three-point shot. Where's the in-between? Where's the post-up? When do you have opportunities to get easy baskets without working so hard? My second year when I played with AI in Philly, one thing I told him was this. I said, listen, man, you play extremely hard, but you can't do that for 48 minutes for X amount of years. You're going to wear yourself out. You got to figure out a way within the game to get easy baskets. You working too hard to score. 25 feet away, you go tire yourself out. That's what James Harden does. All the dribbling, all the stuff. When does he really get easy baskets?
It's like Westbrook. They're very similar. We've seen them both kind of wear out.
But to me, we're too hard on him because, again, what year is he? 7th, 8th year in the league?
But he should know by now. You got to get a
Did LeBron
game.
know by now?
Yes, he did.
To take over in his 7th, 8th season?
But he figured out how to get easier baskets. I'm talking about 4 scores.
Right.
Jet, you know that.
About 7th, 8th year, this is when he figured it out. And to your point about coaching, D'Antoni, you've seen this out of Harden for however long you've watched his career. It's your job to put him in those positions to be successful, but because of your stubbornness and your system, you won't put him in the post. You won't let him shoot pull-up mid-range jump shots. So it is 2 free throw or a 3. And as you know, I played with James. Yes, he does fatigue out because his usage rate is too high.
Right.
And so Western Conference Finals, we went there. We played against Golden State. That's going to be my second point. But he fatigues out. He has to start this summer to figure out what is LeBron doing? What is Westbrook doing? Those are 2 MVPs that we know for sure they're the most durable players that we've ever seen in our lifetime in the NBA.
He's in his 9th season. We want to be correct on that. And just very quickly, you got a problem with him not shaking hands after the game?
That's a problem.
I do, especially Western Conference Finals. They beat you. You had a chance. You should shake their hand.
You can be in your feelings all you want.
Yeah.
Be a man, shake their hand, and be a good sport.
Welcome back, Jim Jackson, Jason Terry. Let's move to the NBA Finals. It's here. Tips off Thursday night in Oakland. Warriors, Cavs facing off for a record 4th year in a row. For both of these teams, the road to the finals tougher than in previous years. And while the Warriors owner Joe Lacob says he's tired of facing Cleveland, Cavs coach Ty Lue had a different perspective, saying, quote, playing them for the 4th time is just an unbelievable achievement. I don't think people understand how hard it is. To be the last teams left again, that's a cool thing. Whitlock, you jacked about another Cavs-Warriors final?
Yes and no. I just wish there was a little more equality in one aspect, either team equality or there was a match for LeBron James. LeBron James is head and shoulders the best player in this series, and Golden State is head and shoulders the best team in this series. And so when you think of classic rivalries, Bird versus Magic, there was equality between the two players, there was equality between the two teams. That would get you jacked up. I do think this is going to be a good series, but I'm not as excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was Ollie Frazier as a kid. They were even. Ollie was a little slicker. And, again, Bird Magic, Magic was a little slicker. But the only way Cleveland wins to me is just tackle them. It has to be ugly. You're going to need the whistle for 4 games to win. And
Draymond could do something stupid.
Well, we were talking about this off air today. Like, do you go after Curry physically? I mean, do you bang on him hard?
That's what Villanova did.
I'm saying. I mean, if I'm Cleveland, my game plan is, without saying it, go after Curry physically.
But
he has a history of getting banged up and hurt.
Look at Golden State and how they're made up. They're not the physicalest team you've ever seen. That's their weakness. You got to get in them. You got to be physical. They like freedom of movement, so they can run around and be cute and run off the screens and shoot threes. But if you get physical with them, it rattles them. It gets underneath their skin, and it wears on them. That's only Cleveland's chance. They got the biggest, strongest force we've ever seen, LeBron James. He got to impose his will. I'm excited. You want to – wait a minute. Let me stop. I forgot I'm still playing. No, I wish the Bucks were still playing.
There you go.
And we could give them a better challenge than these Cleveland Cavaliers will. But I'm excited because this is what the league wanted. This is what the fans want. You want the best player. You want the best team, and we got both.
What's funny to me is that I hear a lot of people talk about this. When it was Cleveland against Indiana, I wanted to see the Cavs lose. I said, so you want to see Indiana move forward, but you don't want to see Indiana play Toronto, but you don't want to see LeBron win.
Right.
I mean, what you want? Golden State, but yet you don't want to see them move forward, but you don't really want to see Houston and Boston play because Houston is too much one-on-one. I mean, what you want? You want the best storylines. Yep. You got 2 of the most polarizing athletes that play. Forget the sport with Steph Curry and LeBron James. You're talking about history that can be made in regards to what LeBron James can do with his 8th straight or Golden State winning 3 out of 4. You go back, we always highlight, let's say the Celtics, who won 8 straight, okay? 8 out of, 11 titles. But during the time when they played, it was only 7 teams in the Eastern Conference, 7 teams in the Western Conference, okay? That's it. From 57 to 69, when they dominated, it was only 14 teams in the league, but yet and still we hold them to the gold standard. And we're sitting here demonizing LeBron for dominating the East. Right. See, because we're living in the moment. What do you want? You want the best storylines, the best players. That's what we have. Yeah. This greatness is not going to be around forever. To me, it's like you suck it in and you enjoy each and every moment.
I will say this. As much as we bang on Cleveland, and I'm guilty of that, JR can hit a 3, Korver can hit a 3, Love can hit a 3, Jeff Green can hit a 3, LeBron can hit a 3.
He can't even think.
Cleveland, you can't beat Golden State without shooting. I'll guarantee you this, they won't go 0 for 27 on threes.
They won't.
They might. I don't know. Did you see them against Boston in the first 2 games?
They won't. The thing that scares me about this series, although I don't think it's going to happen, but it could be a 4-0 rout, and that won't be very exciting.
That's not what we want.
And so I do think Golden State is significantly better than them, and the only chance is if they come in a little lackadaisical, complacent.
Game 1.
And then, and LeBron gets something out of his supporting cast that we just kind of don't expect. But if somehow this is a 7-game series, which, to be quite honest with you, I kind of think it's going to be, it could be very interesting. Because if you get LeBron
in
all
series.
You're all over the place today.
No, I can't believe it. If it goes 7 games, then LeBron has a chance.
I don't think 7. I think 2.
So we're going to let them win So Golden State going to win 4, and we're going to be like, hold on, that wasn't enough. And let them play 3 more. They're going to sweep them 7-0. Come on now.
Come on. You know, 3 years ago, think about this, though. When Cleveland first went and Kyrie was there before he got hurt in Game 1, it was that drop in intensity.
Yes.
Cleveland actually had Game 1, and they should have won that on the road.
They should have.
So kind of look for that a little bit more with Golden State coming off this tough series against Houston.
Remember, last year, Golden State sweep, 3-0 lead on Cleveland. Because of that, there is an apathy with Golden State. They've beaten Cleveland. I mean, last night in the first quarter, you're like, fellas, we're to Game 7 here.
Right.
I mean, it is hard sometimes to engineer for a heavy favorite urgency.
Well,
they won't play with urgency for entire games.
What I'll look for, and it's going to be real intriguing to me, is Kevin Durant versus LeBron James again. Because when we talk about killer mentality, all the greats, Kobe, MJ, they don't forget. And then when we left that series last year, we all talked about KD might be the best. He might overtake LeBron. Not I. You know what I mean? I understand what it is. But I'm looking for that matchup. LBJ, this is the time, if none other, to show us that killer instinct and go out there and make it a mano-a-mano. Every time KD guards you, go at him. Show him what time it is. And I think that'll be intriguing for me. But other than that, I mean, I just don't really see too much excitement.
All right, welcome back. We're joined now by Super Bowl champion Greg Jennings and the founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's move to New England, where the Patriots are having a rocky offseason with Tom Brady refusing to show up at OTAs and the team suffering what looks to me like lingering resentment over Bill Belichick's decision to bench Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl. But I'm not the only one calling out Belichick's approach, with former Patriot Cassius March going off on the Patriot way, saying, quote, "They don't have fun there. There's nothing fun about it. There's nothing happy about it. I didn't enjoy any of my time there." You know what I'm saying? It made me, for the first time in my life, think about not playing football because I hated it that much. Cowherd, does Belichick need to fix his fun problem?
No. First of all, sometimes you walk here, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you drive here. Did you walk or drive?
I walked here today.
So did you walk to work?
Yes.
You didn't walk to fun. This is a job.
If this was miserable, it would be a problem. This is not miserable.
But you walk to work. Work is not fun. There's a song. Everybody working for the weekend.
Do you enjoy what you do every day? Do you have fun with it?
Not right now.
That's a great answer.
Sometimes it's work.
Exactly. What Cash is saying is I didn't even enjoy it. I didn't have fun at all.
It's a game. A game.
You don't think that. It's a NFL, it's a business.
It is a business, but at its essence, it's a game. And you fall in love with this game and the fun that the game brings you. If you remove it all, it becomes a problem. Belichick's expiration date is here, Colin. It is here. He needs to fix this. You can't ask these millionaire athletes to make all these sacrifices, then make that selfish decision in the Super Bowl, and then not have it be any fun. You got Brady and his wife, Giselle, talking about it. You got Gronkowski talking about it. Football at its essence, if there's no fun.
Why does Alabama have the best recruiting class? Do they go to Nick because he's the most fun?
Oh, no. You got it wrong.
Colin, you're off base here.
You got it wrong.
You know who's having fun? Johnny Football and Josh Gordon had a lot of fun at the keg parties in Cleveland a couple years ago. You know who's having fun? Cam Newton dabbing on everybody, celebrating. Antonio Brown in Pittsburgh jumping on the goalpost. Those guys are having fun. What are they winning, Whitlock? Are they going to Super Bowls every single
Lane
year?
Johnson just had a lot of fun winning a Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Did the Patriots
1 year.
win last year?
Patriots have won 5 Super Bowls. 5.
I totally get that.
What do you want to win, 5? Or you want 1 and you want to go have fun?
I totally get that, but it only takes one time where you make a mistake like Bill Belichick has made, and I'm one to go on record. I never like to question what he's done because he's had so much success, but if you're unwilling to adapt, you're unwilling to continue to sustain success. It's been proven. A coach will be eliminated from the process before a group of players will be. Bottom line, if Bill Belichick is unwilling to adapt, I'm not saying change everything that you do, because what you do is why we've won, but you have to now adapt.
Okay, so what's adapting?
Yeah, I can't
What's
wait
he
to
got to
hear
do
this.
now? Walk in and say, heartfelt, Tears. I'm terrible.
Whoa.
No, just when you go to work, if we're all in corporate America, if Eric Shanks had made a decision with this company that he felt like, I'm not going to disclose it to anyone, you would come to work, and some of us would still come to work every day, and that's okay. But most would be like wondering every single day, why did he make this decision? And why can't we know? I can't give you everything that I am and all that I want to give you and maximize my potential because you're not disclosing information to me. If I'm in a locker room and I do something conduct detrimental to the team, you know what Bill Belichick is going to do? He's going to call me into his office and he's going to ask me, why did I do that? Why did I make that decision? And you know what his expectation is going to be? His expectation is going to be for me to explain to him why I did what I did. If I choose not to, he has the power to remove me.
Why can't Belichick just say, Greg, hey, you want to have fun? You know, you got a 4-month off season. Go live it up in the off season. I want 6 to 7 months of your hard work and dedication to win a Super Bowl.
No, he can't do that, Jason. The issue that moving forward with these modern NFL players,
these soft millennials, right?
Addicted to social media, he can do what you're talking about. But it won't work with this next group of players.
That's your best argument. That's the culture's changed.
The culture has
Exactly.
changed. That's why he has to adapt. Look, Tom Coughlin went through this in Jacksonville. He went through it with the Giants, where he's always having to adapt and tweak his style. If he continues down his path, trust me, the backlash from this, it's already started with the greatest player of all time. I don't need any more evidence than Tom Brady's not happy.
I'm going to explain a situation. You tell me if this is fun. You get drafted in the 6th round and marry a supermodel. Is that fun? Because Bill does make that happen.
Oh, my God.
You think Tom's sitting there thinking Bill made Giselle happen, or does Tom think he made Giselle happen?
Supermodels are going for what, backup quarterbacks now? Is that happening? I was unaware of that.
Dak Prescott's getting ready for that was a good point, excellent point. His first NFL season without a big-name star receiver after the team moved on from declining Dez Bryant. That should be his new name, declining Dez Bryant. But Dak doesn't seem to mind saying, quote, I don't know if any team necessarily needs a #1 wide receiver. Whitlock, is Dak onto something here?
Before you say something, don't have me flip this table over.
You don't need a #1 receiver, Colin. You've been saying it forever, and it's a fact. The Patriots haven't really had a #1 receiver.
What?
The Patriots, the Eagles just this year won without a #1 receiver.
No, Alshon Jeffrey is their #1. Rob Gronkowski is their #1. And when he's not in and Edelman is healthy, he's the #1 guy. Clear cut. Keep going. I'm sorry. Go.
Look, you don't have to have. Look, only #1 receiver in my view is Julio Jones. Everybody else is expendable.
Antonio Brown's pretty good.
Odell Beckham is okay.
I'm not a big
I'll say this. I'll say this the nicest way I can say it. Hold on. You're a luxury. You're a luxury item, and I'll explain that. When you walk into a society, there's nothing there. You got to get the bridges right, and you got to get the roads right. Then you can have a wine sommelier in a wine shop.
That's a leap.
Okay. With an NFL team, you got to get the OL right, the O-line. You got to get the D-line right, and you got to get a quarterback. Then, if you're lucky, you can bring on this luxury perimeter item like Julio Jones. But the Falcons didn't win until they got a pass rusher in Vic Beasley, till they got Alex Mack at center and could protect Matt Ryan. Receivers are luxury items. You don't like
How
that?
can you compete in this league if you can't score? It's not going to happen. Let me say this. Charles Barkley on air said something about Draymond Green, that someone should slap Draymond Green and then apologize. You sent him a text and said, come on, Charles. I back. Somebody need to slap Dak Prescott right now for that comment.
Oh, my goodness.
Because, #1, Dak Prescott is not an elite quarterback right now. So for him to say that in front of his guys that he has in that locker room, what are you saying to them? What message are you sending to them? You guys aren't #1 guys. I got to work with what I'm given. And he didn't say this last year. He didn't say this when Dez was still in the building. So now all of a sudden Dez is gone. I don't have the option to have a #1 guy. So now I can say this. No, #1, you need a #1 receiver. Tell me a Super Bowl team that has won recently without a #1 guy.
Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls, and he had David Tyree and a bunch of Mario Manningham catching passes. The Seattle Seahawks started a mini dynasty, Greg. No disrespect.
Thank you.
Seahawks.
Thank you. Plaxico Burress, Victor Cruz.
These guys were good. They were not elite number one.
They were number one guys.
20 million and 15, 20 million a year.
They were number really one guys. The Patriots. Everyone wants to say the Patriots do it every year.
Julian Edelman's a converted college quarterback.
I don't care what he is. He's a number one guy. He's been proven in this league. Has he made Pro Bowls?
That doesn't make you a number one guy.
Has he led the league in reception? Has he made? What about Rob Gronkowski?
He's very good. He's a great tight end.
But he's not a number one guy.
They won a Super Bowl without him, Greg.
But they had Julian Edelman. They're clear-cut number. You're saying he said we don't need a clear-cut number. He's a clear-cut number one.
Let me tell you who said this exact same thing 2 years ago, or maybe it was last year. The quarterback in Detroit, Matt Stafford, said this about Megatron retiring. And people thought, hey, he was going to spread the ball around to more receivers. Right. And he was actually right. Their offense improved, and they had a better season without Megatron.
That's without Megatron, but Golden Tate is a proof. He's a number one guy.
Golden Tate?
Come on.
You're reducing the stand as the number one receiver.
How many number one guys are there in the league?
Yeah.
Now we're saying that if you're not the top tier top five guy, no, we don't have enough of those to go around. But when you look at the teams, if you have a clear-cut number one guy, it makes you better as a quarterback. I guarantee Dak Prescott this year is going to wish he had somebody like Dez that he can just throw the ball to that can say, I can be that guy for you.
Who can't beat man press coverage. Yeah.
I get all of that. I totally get all of that. But a number one guy has a belief about himself that you share as a quarterback. When I was in Green Bay, we had a clear number one guy. That was myself. That doesn't discount what Jordy was able to do, what James Jones, Donald Driver, any of that. But I knew what 3rd and 10 when we were in that Super Bowl and we needed a big play. In the huddle, what did Aaron say? Greg, I'm coming to you. Before the play was even called, I'm coming to you. Why? I was the number one guy. You need that. You need that like-minded.
I've never seen a guy get so offended by being called a
when you've been a number one guy in your career, and to hear this is buffoonery.
Look, coming up, we're going to discuss whether or not Greg Jennings was a number one. In the next segment, that's going to be up for debate. We'll get some Hall of Famers in here to discuss that with us.
Welcome back, Jim Jackson, joined now by Fox NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Let's return to the National Basketball Association Finals. LeBron and the Cavs opened huge dogs against the Warriors for Thursday's Game 1. Golden State favored by 12 in the opener. It's the largest spread in an NBA Finals game since the Lakers against the Sixers 17 years ago. Whitlock, you think LeBron's Cavs will make these finals competitive?
Yeah, I really do. I think this series is going to go 7 games. And I know that Golden State handled them last year in 5, but that was a different LeBron James. LeBron James has taken it up a level, and I know this sounds crazy. Golden State is clearly the better team, but I just don't think you can make a good living counting out LeBron James. So I've never seen him play at this level. I think he's going to figure out a way to I think this year it'll probably be Kevin Durant whose head he crawls inside of and changes his game. But, yeah, I think this is going to go 7. I think Golden State's going to win the series, but I'm never surprised by LeBron James doing something I don't expect.
Kevin Love's in concussion protocol. If he doesn't play in Game 1 or 2, the Warriors have 5 of the 6 best players. This feels like a bad college mismatch.
They don't have the one that matters.
Well, Steph Curry matters a lot.
I so hope you're right, but you're off your rocker. I mean, I don't see how in the world they push this to 7. And LeBron is a different LeBron. Well, last year he averaged a triple-double in the finals, and you had Kyrie. Like, you had 25 points you knew you were getting outside of LeBron. Who's that guy now? There's nobody that probably will even average 15 points a game other than LeBron in this series. I just don't think they have enough. I think the way they could compete with them is to muck it up, slow it down, get physical. But Ty Lue doesn't want to do that. He's going to want to run and push it, and they don't have the personnel to do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I mean, what's competitive? Is that 10 points? Is that keep it within 15? Is it
No, it's competitive to me is winning 2 games.
Okay, well, winning 2 games. Well, I think with LeBron, he's going to give you a chance to win a game and a half. Who can be that other person that finishes the deal. And I don't know, because Kevin Love is still up in the air in regards to will he be completely healthy enough to play, and will he be effective? Can you depend on Jeff Green? I'm not for sure yet. Defensively, he may be there, Jordan Clarkson. And again, when Cleveland was successful against this Golden State team, they were able to rough up Steph Curry away from the ball. But you had Shumpert at the time that was big and physical. J.R. Smith was physical and big. So they took Steph out of the game, so to speak, in regards to his effectiveness. I don't know if they can play defense like that. Do you slow the tempo down, limit the possessions? Okay, but Ty doesn't want to play like that because you don't have the personnel really to play like that, because it's spread and it's built upon spreading the offense, knocking down some threes, trying to get some easy layups. So it's going to be – I still got a 4-2. I'm going to give him 4-2. I think LeBron
that's
can
competitive.
get you. Yeah, I think
nice.
LeBron can get you. I look at game one as an opportunity at this mentally tough series for Golden State for Cleveland to go in, keep it close, keep it competitive. LeBron James can take over. If you sneak game one, I think you get one at home.
Golden State wins by 31 in the opener.
31?
You think that's crazy? They did that to Houston in a game. I think Golden State rolls in the opener, and it's actually
Give me 15 points, and we got to bet.
In game one?
Yeah. Give him 15.
Give me 15 points.
Oh, they going to win by more than 15.
Yeah, I'll give you 15.
What's the line? It's 12.
I'll give you 15. What are we betting?
Mastros.
Here's the thing.
He likes Mastro.
Wow.
He likes Mastro.
Yeah, I got to get some action. We'll talk after. Look, LeBron, I think he's the second best player ever. So I'm with you on betting against LeBron, but they went through, let's not forget who they went through in the East.
That's true.
An Indiana team that had one pseudo-star in Victor Oladipo, a Toronto team that was just shook at the sight of LeBron, and a Boston team that was young stars, up-and-coming stars, and some mediocre vets.
But here's the thing. Look at the style of play, though. Indiana was a little bit more physical. Toronto kind of slowed it down a little bit. Boston, the same thing. When you're playing against Golden State, you'll get opportunities because the game is going to be at a higher pace. So it's not going to be the same physical, I think, detriment that they faced in the Eastern Conference. So that's going to give them opportunity. Keep in mind,
if they get hot,
this
like
Golden
last
State
year
team,
Game 4?
we saw it against Houston, they had communication problems. They had issues on defense. So you go get some open shots and opportunities. You go get that. I'm not saying they go beat them in 7 games, but it's going to be competitive.
Competitive 6, I'd be happy.
Al Horford, reach out to me. All right, to Boston, where the Celtics exceeded expectations this season, especially after losing Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward to injury. Even still, Danny Ainge says the team is better with both those guys, but Kyrie's no-show at Game 7 started some chatter that the team might want to think about moving on from him. Cowherd, should Boston consider trading Kyrie?
With his injury history, no, but I'd take calls. I don't want to sell my house, but I'd take a call.
Hold on. With his injury histories, yes, they should consider.
No, yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no. Would I trade him? No, but I would take a call. Jason Tatum, I'm not interested in a call. Mm-hmm. It's just like my house. I don't want to move. You can call me on my kids. I'm not trading those. My house, I'd consider if the offer's crazy.
Thank you for that.
I think you do trade him.
Wow.
I think they've had so much success. He's been so injury-riddled, even going back to Duke. I just don't think he's a guy you can count on. And why get him in the way of these young guys who just don't have the health issues that he consistently has?
I think a dinner conversation with Kyrie is in order. Danny Ainge, Brad Stevens, sit him down. Look, Kyrie, you can be a free agent after this year. We want to keep you. We think you, Jason, and Jalen, and Gordon, and we can be spectacular. But will you commit to us long term? And if he's non-committal, he pulls a LeBron, we'll see. I think you have to at least start taking calls and talking to teams about what can we get for him rather than play out next year and then he may walk for nothing. There are people in the league that think he could go to New York. Because remember, Boston wasn't on his list of desired destinations.
That's true.
But it could work. But what does Boston need? They need a closer. Game 6, Game 7. They need a closer, especially on the road.
You think those kids won't be closers?
Oh, wait, that's Kyrie. We're talking about winning
I agree.
now. Okay,
I
so
agree.
what you do, to me, a couple things. One, backup situation. Is it Rozier or is it another person that can back up Kyrie knowing that he may get injured? can I throw something at you? The future of your front court or the wings are Jaylen Brown and also Jason Tatum. Possibility also, too, is can you move Gordon Hayward? Get that contract off. Because what you need for Boston is another pick-and-pop four and another, I would say, swing player in there to come off the bench. Because the fascination with Hayward is not there yet. It's not an attachment yet like Isaiah. Can you move that contract, okay, get quality depth in that front court and keep your core? Because at one point, you're going to have to address the issue. Tatum and Brown are your future. And their growth, and you know who Gordon Hayward is.
Would you risk, if Kyrie says, look, I like it here, you know, let's play out next season, I think we can win it, would you risk trying to win it next year with Kyrie, but if you don't win it, maybe losing him for nothing in free agency? That's the question.
I'll risk it.
You would risk
He's worth the risk, especially the way the Eastern Conference is right now.
But
I think
you
try to
can
convince
win the
him.
East, but what about the
I think you can try to convince him if you get there that this is where you need to be, and that's Danny Ainge's job.
Doesn't his dad have a history in Boston? Didn't his dad play at Boston University?
Boston University.
Yeah. Maybe it's All right, welcome back. Time for last call. Let's move to LeBron, who is now advanced to his 8th straight NBA Finals, prompting Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas to say LeBron is a much better player than Michael Jordan. Cowherd, do you agree with Isaiah?
He can do more well than Michael Jordan.
Really? Name the things.
A better rebounder, better passer, better physical specimen. He's a more
Disagree about physical specimen. He is a better passer. Jordan's a better defender. Jordan's a better scorer. Jordan's a better competitor.
By the way, LeBron now is a better three-point shooter.
Than who?
Michael? Michael was a mid-range guy.
If Michael played in this era, he would have figured out the three-pointer if he played in this era.
Do you know LeBron is 3 inches taller and 40 pounds heavier?
That's the difference. That is what makes him...
And court vision. LeBron's court vision's... Come on, he's one of the...
Wait, was Michael Jordan with Stevie Wonder? I mean, what?
Come on.
He didn't have any problem seeing on the
He was
court.
a little tunnel vision.
Yeah, the rim. And he would get there and do incredible things. All right, to the Stanley Cup Final, where the Vegas Golden Knights won Game 1 over the Caps, scoring 6 goals after a very over-the-top, very Vegas pregame celebration. Cowherd, do you like what Vegas is bringing to the NHL?
I think it's incredible. I think, seriously, I mean, I knew it would be interesting, but this is the best NHL story since, I don't know, Gretzky to L.A.? I mean, seriously.
It's a tremendous story. It's making me interested in hockey.
I watched this thing last night.
And I'm sure a lot of other people. I want to see how they, work in some burlesque into their...
Let's slow down. I bet you this is the highest, this will be the highest rated Stanley Cup since, 10, 12 years?
Dude, you had rappers at this game last night. It's turning into the cool event. I can't wait to see what the NFL does in Las Vegas.
That's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow.